Hello. Now we are going to discuss about the object classes, right? As we have discussed earlier, right? So this object is the built-in Python class. That means every class that you built in the Python that will inherit from the object class. Now let's see the type of object class. Of course, it will be type, right? That means any class which is built in like integer, string, dictionary, and other classes. Those classes will also have the type as in type class. Here we can check that, right? Now, when we create any class and we are not explicitly inheriting from anything, but it's being implicitly inherit from the object class directly and automatically. We can see that, let's say that we have built here, we are building a person class. Now let's try to check whether this person class is a subclass of object or not. If it is inherit from the object class, then it will be the subclass. Here we have this. We have got the output as true, right? And it's not just the custom class. Every type in the Python does inherit from the object class. We can check that. Here we are checking whether this integer is a subclass of object or not. Yes, it is. Even a module, which are the object and the instance of the module class, are subclass of the object. Like here, consider that first we import module, math module. When we check type of the math, it belongs to a module class, right? So here we are storing this module type in variables. When we check the type of the module class, this is a built-in class. So this type of this module class will be type class. You can check that. So here we are checking that whether this module belongs to or module inherit the object class or not. If it is true, this means that this module inherits from the object class. Here we have, right? Now, the question is where the module type class lives, right? So here we can check that this type of the module is type of integer is type, right? But where is this type class, right? We can look at for it in the type modules, right? So we have this type modules, right? It's a built-in module. We can import it and then we can check the directory, all the classes, all the functionality in the type class, in the type module. We can see that here what we are seeing is we have this in the type module. We have all the classes. We have the cell type, we have the built-in method, we have built-in functions, right? So this is for the built-in function. This is this generator type. We have the code type, coroutine type, right? We have this all this type class. Here we also have the method type. We have the function type. You can see this, right? All this is in the type class. Now, so that means if we define a function, like here we have defined the myfunc, the type of myfunc is the function. So this function is belong to the function type. So it's the object of the function type. So here we can check that whether this type of func type is a function or not. Actually, both are same, right? It's a different name. So function type inherit from the object, right? Function type also inherit from the object. We can check that. Here we can check because this function will also inherit from the object. So here we're checking whether this the function type class inherits from the object or not by checking is class. We're getting true over here. We can also check that this my function will also inherit from the object, right? Now here this my function is also the instance of the function type class. We can check with the is instance class, right? So object class implement the so now we know how the object class work. It's a base class and it has a certain amount of base functionality. We can check over here which functionality are available with the object class. Here we can see that we have this class, delete attribute, dir, doc, equal, format, greater than equal to, has, init, less than equal to. We have all these functionality, right? We have this str method and we also have this repr method, right? All this is the implemented in the base class, right? Now let's see how this work. So as we can see, we have all this functionality, right? Now let's investigate these two classes, REPR and the STR classes, right? So here we are getting the object of the object class O1. Now let's try to check what is the string representation of the, like, yeah, so what is this string representation of the object class we have, right? So we are getting this object, which is a class name, and then we have this object at, and then we have the address. Even the REPR also gives you the same output. It's again the object, then again object at, again the same address. Now this is very much familiar to us, right? So if you implement a class and you do not define REPR and the STR, you get the similar result, right? And let's see that in action. Over here we have created a person class. This is the object of the person class we are creating, and now we are trying to check the string of the person class. When we do this, here what we get, this is the class name. So the class name is the person, which is same as this was the class name. This was the class name. So this is the class name. Then again object at, then the different location. So now we know that this is actually the str method in the object class is being called, right? Similarly, equal to method in the object class is implemented, right? And it uses the object ID to determine the equality. Like over here, we have these two objects from the object class O1 and O2. We can check the ID of O1 and O2. This is the ID of O1 and O2. This is the different ID. Now here we are checking whether this O1 is O2. It will not, because the both address are totally different. O1 is equal to O2 will also be false, right? Because they are not a different object. But if you check O1 is O1 and O1 equal to O1, this will be true. This too will be true, right? So this equal to operator, right, is working over here, and even the is operator is working over here, right? And this gives you the similar result when you have the two different objects. Here we have this P1 and the P2, two different objects from the person class, and here also you will get the same result. You'll get P1 is P2, which is false, P1 equal to P2 is false, and then same as over here, right? So this person class, when we try to use this is operator and equal to operator, both uses, both calls this equal to method, right? And we can even check the ID of those method when it's being called from the person class and the object class. Here we can check that the ID of equal method and the ID of object method, both IDs are same over here. This means that both class are calling the same method, and that's because the every class that you build, every custom class that you build, that inherit from the object class. This will work. Here we can also check the ID of the init method as well, right? So even though if you do not implement the init method in the custom class, so it will call the same init method from the object class. Here we are getting that the object ID are same. But if you override those method, that means if you implement those method over here in the person class, now we are implementing the init method. That means we are overwriting this method. If you do so, now the ID will be different, because now this init method has a different functionality, right? So this is called overriding. Now in the next lecture we'll see overriding in more detail. For now this is it. So this is all about the object class. Thank you very much.